Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Z, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing how you can achieve similar results. I'll be using the water to wine trick. Sounds kind of weird saying, but it's not miracles. It's just knowing a few little editing tricks. And without wasting time, let's get right into it. So I already have my Premiere Pro project open here, and I have two clips. One where I was pouring the wine and you can see there as I scrub through. The other one, I was pouring the water. And very important to note is that I had my camera on a tripod and nothing moved in the entire frame. So all the things you see, the wine bottles, the stuff that's in the back, everything needs to be in the same position, especially if you are doing something like this, because you're going to be doing what non-linear editing is, which is taking different parts of the video and then pasting them to make it seem like it was something that was happening at the same time. And of course, we're going to make use of what's called masks or masking in Premiere Pro. So what I want to do is start adding cuts to my timeline, and using the source monitor, I'll just scrub through and see where my endpoint could be. And I just want it to be here just before I start pouring, and I'll put my endpoint there. Shortcut for endpoint is I, and shortcut for outpoint is O on your keyboard. So I'm going to do the same on the clip that has water. It's kind of similar places, just as I pour or just before, put my endpoint and then also my outpoint when I stop pouring. And then I just add that onto my timeline. And now I want to add markers. And I want the first marker to be where the wine just hits the base. So there, where the wine just hits the base of the wine glass. And shortcut for markers is M, by the way. And then another marker when I stop pouring. Yeah, somewhere there. I'm going to do the same for the water clip. And just as I hit the base right over there, and add another marker, and when I start pouring, I'll add another marker. I'm just going to label these differently. I'm going to put teal on the water clip, and I'll put mango. Yeah, I'll put mango on the wine clip. And then I'm just going to put them on top of one another so that we can start making use of the hierarchy system in Premiere Pro, which simply means that the video on top is the one that you see. If I hide and unhide the top clip, you can see what I mean. So now here comes the fun part, or the interesting part. We're going to start using masks. So what we want to do is make a mask for the clip that's on top, which is the one that has water. And to do that, you go to Effect Controls, and then you go under Opacity, and then you click on the pen tool, or I think it's called a Bezier tool. What we want to do is you want to kind of guess the shape of the splash, how the wine and the water is going to splash out as it hits the base. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you can just draw something that is close. And I'm just going to quickly show you what's happening here. I'm going to hide the layer at the bottom, which is our base. What a mask literally does is it isolates a certain part of the video and then hides everything else. So we've just isolated the base of this wine glass, also kind of imitating what the splash of the water would be like. This is why it's important to have the tripod in one position and to have everything not move. So what I actually did with the wine glass is I put, we grew up calling it sticky stuff, but I think it's called press stick, if I'm correct. And I put it on the foot of the wine glass just so that it doesn't move by any means possible. I also did this because I didn't want to move the glass after pouring the wine first. I actually removed the wine using a syringe, but you could use anything as long as you do not move the glass. and yeah, keep it in the same position. Because a mask isolates a certain part of the video, it's always good to also add a little bit of feathering so that it blends in with the video that's at the bottom or the video that's at the back. So that's where you have this feathering, and I'm just going to increase it to 15, but you don't want to, you know, crank it up too high. You just want it to be just on a sweet spot. I'm going to zoom in just so that we can see a little bit closer, and we're going to start doing what is called keyframing. We want to start animating the mask, and that's what we're going to do. And the first thing you want to do is make sure you click on the mask path keyframe icon, which is this little timer icon. If you don't, you will regret it because it won't animate. So you click on that and then you start moving on your timeline. General rule of thumb is if you don't want to go frame by frame, you can do every 3 frames should be fine. I was interchanging anywhere between 2 to 5 frames, depending on how much movement is in between those frames. So I might speed up this process because it's a bit lengthy. Okay, done. So let's play it back and see how it looks. Okay, that looks good. I actually like it. We're going to fix a couple of things along the way, but for now, I like it. I also want to extend the end of both clips, and we'll make a cut here, and then I'm going to nest what's left in between, which is pretty much the part that's in between the pouring and stopping pouring. So I'm just going to name this masked clips. Nesting clips is just simply grouping your clips and then putting them in their own sequence, so it becomes just one layer. I also want to extend the end, and because the mask is still on when the pouring stops, I'm just going to delete it from the clip that's at the end here, so that we have that smooth transition. And then I started off recording when I had picked up the wine bottle. So I'm just going to look for that part where I pick up the bottle. So I'm going to use the source monitor for that, put my in and out point, and then copy that back into the timeline. Okay, there we go. Now it's looking proper. Some of these clips, of course, were not shot in the same time, and I've made some different cuts. So to smoothen out those transitions, I've used cross dissolve, and a shortcut for that is Control D or Command D, or you could just search on effects and drag and drop cross dissolve where you want it. So you can see here where I added it. I'm just going to delete, and you can see the jitter there, but with cross dissolve, it's smooth. There's one more thing we need to fix. If you look really closely, the water and the wine are not aligned when you look at the pouring. So to fix that, you just take the water clip from your nested file here at the bottom and then copy it at the top here. And once you've done that, you delete the existing mask because it's going to come with the mask that it had there. And then we're going to create a new mask now. And you just want to mask around where there's that little difference between the water and the wine. So you want to mask that out. Make sure you keyframe your changes. At least it's not for the entire clip. It's just the first few seconds. You just move on your timeline, just following it until you don't see it anymore. Now that you have masked that part out, you have two options to fix this. Either you apply a Gaussian blur, or is it Gaussian blur? I don't know how to pronounce that. You put a blur onto that clip, and you see that it just softens that part out. And let's just play back and see if that works. Let's crank up the blur a little. Yeah, I don't really like it. It kind of works, but it's so evident that something has been masked there or something is being covered up for. So that's the first option. I'm gonna hide that effect by pressing on that effects icon, and then we're gonna try something else. So you can then add a transform tool, and because we've put a mask, if you use a transform tool, you can move the video around within that mask. So what we're going to do is move the position of the video so that it simply shows another section of that water pouring. Yeah, we can still apply a little bit of blur just to add, a little bit of something. And you can play back and see. Yeah, that's looking good. But at the beginning there, it's just that light spot that's showing. We can lower the opacity so that when it starts, it sort of like blends in a little. And then I'm also just going to fade out the opacity at the end for this clip, just so that it's smooth. There's a smooth transition. And that's looking way better. Way, way better. I like it. That's pretty much it. So from here, you're literally done, and you can add sound design if you want, because I also edited this with some noise in the background. So I don't want to use the noise. I don't want to use the audio from the recording, but you could always do sound design, and you can also color grade. I color graded in DaVinci Resolve, and yeah, you can use this for whatever it may be that you want to use it for. I hope this video was really helpful. If it was, please do let me know in the comments down below, and please do leave a like and do subscribe if you haven't already for more videos like this. Until next time, cheers.